What's up, guys? We're back again with another video covering Realm Royale Reforged. This time we're going over all the new changes coming in patch 2. Now, they've said they're going for more of a back and forth pattern with the updates, alternating between bigger, more content heavy patches like the first patch and quote unquote smaller patches that may be a little bit lighter on in-game content but focus more on refinement, bug fixes, quality of life features, and overall game polish. With that being said, this update still has a literal game changer that I'll be telling you all about. Before we jump into the patch notes, if you haven't already, make sure to click the subscribe button. It helps me out more than you guys know. And if you find this video helpful, make sure to give it a like and get it in front of more people so we can let people know that Realm is getting regular updates again. All right, let's get into it. The biggest thing in this patch by far is the addition of a brand new weapon to the warrior class, the javelin. It's the first time we've gotten an entirely new class weapon in years, and it finally gives the warrior a longer range option to pair with the axe. This thing hits like a truck, with the legendary dealing a base damage of 960. It can't headshot, but it does have the old Game Grover perk built in. This makes it deal base damage up close and all the way up to 30 meters. Starting at 31 meters, it'll begin dealing more damage the longer the distance is, all the way up to 50% more damage if the player's at least 140 meters away. That means the legendary version can deal up to 1440 damage. The damage curve is exponential, so you'll get more of a benefit at the longer ranges than you will at the short, making it pair perfectly with the axe and rounding out the warrior's kit. Some small changes to other parts of the kit also made their way into patch 2, including a slight nerf to the equip time of the axe just to try to keep it from feeling too oppressive when paired with the javelin. In that same light, net shot also got a small damage nerf just to try to keep it under some certain breakpoints when paired with the other two. The warrior isn't the only class to get some attention though. Actually, all the classes got some balance tweaks. The mage had her fire staff AoE nerfed in the hotfix a couple of weeks ago, and that proved to be a little bit too harsh of a nerf, so they've buffed it slightly, but still keeping it under where it was prior to the hotfix patch. Speaking of the hotfix, some of those changes didn't go exactly as planned. One of those changes was the ice staff ammo count being buffed from 6 to 7, and it now should fire that 7th burst as intended. It also got a small damage buff to the epic and legendary rarities, as well as an overall headshot multiplier buff of about 5%. Soar got a really interesting change where instead of the speed being the same and the duration getting longer as the rarity increased, now the duration is the same, but the speed increases with the higher rarity of the ability. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out on live servers. Let me know in the comments if you guys like this change or think they should have left it alone. The hunter also saw some changes. The same thing with the ice staff ammo happened to the crossbow, and that should now work properly with the crossbow having 12 bullets. The proximity trap also got a handful of buffs, getting slightly better cooldown, slightly increased radius, and slightly more damage. Individually, none of the changes are all that big, but together they make the prox trap one of the stronger parts of the hunter's arsenal. With all these buffs, the hunter did receive a bit of a nerf though, in the form of a smaller projectile on the longbow. People have been asking for it, some louder than others, and the devs have heard it, reducing the projectile size by 10%. The grapple hook also sort of got buffed by way of bug fixes. That pesky ghost grapple that would put it on cooldown without using the grapple has been fixed and is finally a thing of the past. Additionally, you also no longer pause while throwing the grapple hook, making it feel much less clunky. The assassin saw the least amount of changes between any of the classes, receiving a 10% hipfire nerf to the sniper rifle. It's going to make no scopes a little harder to hit, which you guys know I'm bummed about, but if that's the only thing getting nerfed on assassin, you won't hear me yelling too loud. It'll be interesting to see how the meta shifts with all these class changes, but class changes aren't the only things affecting the meta. The neutral pool also saw some changes. It's my understanding that common auto snipers, they're out of the loot pool entirely. That should make the early game loot situation feel much better. The remaining rarities did get a small damage buff that was due to them from the hotfix and should now work as intended. The shotgun got a bit of a behind the scenes rework with the new damage curve and fall off ranges, making it much more consistent and now allows you to hit multiple group targets. It did receive a moderate damage nerf to account for it, but this thing's still really strong. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. The gatekeeper got a slight damage nerf to keep it from feeling too oppressive, and the common SMG was normalized to have the same accuracy as the other rarities. Previously it was bugged to have a different accuracy, making it feel stronger than intended. Fortification finally got fixed and now no longer allows you to be shot in the feet while using it. It also no longer slows the user, meaning you don't get the movement speed penalty that you used to get, making fortification a super viable damage blocking ability. Depending on what settings you use, it can look like it's bugged to block shots that it shouldn't, but it should find a nice spot in the new meta as these changes settle in and players figure out what they like using. Other bug fixes include finally fixing that invisible wall outside of Northport that I know everybody got caught on, and console crashes have been a big focus of this patch, and they'll continue to be a priority for the devs. Finally, a few quality of life changes. Players can now hold up to 15 of each kind of potion, which I think is a welcome change, but it'll be super interesting to see how it affects the meta. The Forge menu got some love and will now show you what you have selected in your loadout as your first forged items. No more forgetting what you have set or just guessing at what you'll get. Also, the circles at the end of the game have changed slightly to make for more dynamic endings. Additionally, loot that's left on the ground will now despawn after 5 minutes. It should help out server performance, and I think that's something we can all get behind, but we'll see how it feels the first time you're going for that gold weapon and it disappears right in front of you. Lastly, we got the addition of a mastery system to give players something to work for. If you're already at level 100 with your classes, you'll get the rewards right away. But players who haven't hit level 100 will have the ability to grind the classes and earn some badass exclusive mastery skins. The amount of XP needed to reach level 100 has been reduced significantly, so it's not as much of a chore to get there now either. It is important to note that this is Mastery 1.5, so it's not their full vision for what they want for a mastery system, but it's something to implement now to give players something to play for while they can develop the game further. That about wraps it up for all the changes in patch 2. I'm super excited to see how everything with the javelin plays out, and even more excited to see some of those cool cosmetics they have coming. Reminder, I'm live almost every day over on Twitch, so feel free to come hang out and chat and talk Realm with me in the community. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.